Take a look, people. Take a look. All right.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we are hunting for Red October. I want you to soak it all in. I got the towel. I got the T-shirt. I got the lid. We are
you got the
playing
lid
no
too, bro.
games today because after 11 years of frustration, 11 years of pent-up fandom, 11 years of coming up just this short in September. Boom! Bryce Harper said yesterday in the bottom of the 8th, 2-2 count, Phillies trailing by a run. Take that! Take that! And now the Phillies are on to Houston. World Series, baby. Don't give me any of this last wild card nonsense. Who freaking cares? It's about getting into the dance, and they got into the dance, and they are doing the gritty right now all over the Delaware Valley.
Can we pull up that gritty video again, please?
Get it. Pull it up, Xander.
Pull that gritty video.
You know what? You need 4 more. If there's 4 more wins, I will gritty after every single Phillies win.
Wait. Hold up. If you're a true fan, get up right now and give us a 5-second gritty.
I'll give you a little gritty. I'll give you a little gritty.
Right now. I want to see gritty right now.
I don't have a lot of room in the gigantic studio. Of
I want to see the gritty.
There we go.
We'll give you a little bit of that.
Let's see that gritty.
I'm giving you a little bit of this. I'll give you a little bit of that. I'm giving you a little bit of this. I'm giving you gritty. Yes, baby. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. This is what we do in late October into November, and let's hope that the Phillies are able to keep it rolling because I don't care what Houston's doing. I didn't care. They were the underdog against St. Louis. They were the underdog against Atlanta. They were the underdog against the Padres. And you know what happened every single time? Boom, dominance. How about 9-2 in the postseason? How about taking care of business unblemished at home? That's what I'm talking about. Derek Gunn, Barrett Brooks, Rob Ellis. And you know what? Without further ado, let's go to the man who was on the field with the post-game interviews and was in the booth for the radio call. And
there
look at
he
him.
is.
Tom McCarthy's son got married this weekend, and he is taking the time to join us today. That's how we roll on Sports Take. T-Mac, first off, congrats on your son, man.
Congrats,
awesome.
bro.
What an
Awesome, man.
insane
That's awesome.
weekend this was.
Yeah, I appreciate it, guys. It was pretty cool. I mean, obviously it was hard not to be there on Saturday at the game, but it was a pretty special day. So it was neat. They planned it. It's all from a COVID standpoint. You guys know how tight things are for events, but they planned it a little more than 2 years ago, and there was no lockout. There was no extra wild card round. Right. I think it was supposed to be an off day in the World Series. Like his thought process was good. And then all of a sudden the world changed and I'm like, oh no, this is going to be a conflict.
Hey T-Mac, I need to know one thing. I need to know one thing, T-Mac.
Yeah.
Now, you are the consummate professional, but I also know you are a staunch fan. Please tell me you were not out there last night with those crazies trying to climb those grease poles.
I wasn't. I left. We did the event. We did everything on the field. We were in the clubhouse and stuff like that. And then all of a sudden, I was driving out of the ballpark, and there were people everywhere. So I was sitting there sensing that Center City was probably going crazy. Although I will say it was way more nuttier than I thought it would be. I really was. I thought everybody was saving for the World Series. That was awesome.
Tom. Yeah,
it was awesome.
Yeah, Tom.
Bro, this is what it's all about. This is what it's all about, man. Just being a part of something like this. But I remember you talking about it earlier. You and Rob were discussing it, and you guys were talking about, just get into the dance. Well, now they're dancing, and the fat lady hasn't sung yet, man. No. What's the possibilities these guys winning it all, man? They're hot.
Well, at this point, honestly, Barrett, I think it's up for grabs. And listen, all due respect to the Astros, I think I said this to you guys last time. They're a really good team.
Yeah. Oh
no.
We'll get the call. That's all.
We'll get it back. We'll get it back. Yeah. Listen.
There he is.
Oh, Tom, you're back. All right. We lost you. Hold on.
Wait, we got audio. No
Tom,
audio.
We got video. If you can hear us, we don't have audio. So Xander, see if you can hold with Tom and let's try and get him. Let me know if we have audio, Xander. That's all I need. You give me the thumbs. We got it, Tom.
Yeah.
Okay. We got you back, bud. Yeah.
Yeah. I apologize for that. That was my bad. I'm at the College of New Jersey. My daughter's getting my daughter, is a track athlete at the College of New Jersey, and they were having practice yesterday, and they had this team building exercise where they're doing individual tug of wars. So she won, but in the process of doing an extra one against five people. Like it was her and one of her teammates against five others. She fell and hit her head, and she's got a concussion now.
No.
Trader.
Oh my goodness!
All right, we're wishing her all the best.
It's never a dull moment. It's never a dull moment in the McCarthy house. It's never a dull moment.
You didn't have enough on your plate right now. I hear you.
Yeah. But I do think anything's possible at this point. Great matchup game one if it's Wheeler against Verlander. And I think it will be. I don't think that they'll give him an extra day, even though Nola has an extra day. Game two matchup's really good. I mean, the pitching, again, it's going to be that game 3 and 4, just like this series. To me, if the Phillies can get a split in Houston, those are going to be the 2 key games.
All right, I'm going to start with chalk here, Tom. The obvious. I mean, the run that Harper is on right now, we may have never seen in the history of the postseason. Certainly in a Phillies uniform, and to do what he did in that moment yesterday, I mean, I just sit there and I say this guy can't top himself, and then he tops himself every single time. I mean, just tell me what's going through your head when he hits that thing, and it looks like it's got a legitimate chance to go out the opposite way.
It's incredible that there are athletes. I mean, you guys know there are athletes that just step up at any time. It was just amazing that he was on that stage and provided that kind of a. I was talking to his parents last night, and I said, your son has been everything that this city could have asked for and more. It was incredible. The whole thing was incredible. It was just, the atmosphere was unbelievable when that ball left the bat. It was unbelievable.
Hey Tom, I look at Harper's numbers in the playoffs, and before the playoffs started, we had genuine concerns about him being in somewhat of a funk at the plate. What do you think just turned it on for him? I mean, he in the postseason, 439, 18 of 40 runs, 6 doubles, 5 homers, 11 RBI, 10 runs scored, 11 straight games he reached base. What just clicked for him all of a sudden?
Honestly, Deegan, I think it was just getting at bats. Because we just assumed, because he came out swinging pretty well those first couple weeks after the injury, that he'd be fine. But he probably just needed more live BPs, and he could have been in a mechanical funk. I genuinely think that all of these guys put so much pressure on themselves to get to the postseason that once they got there, it was like, all right, we're there. You know what I mean? And they were just like, let's just go. Think about all of us, man. We always, when we're relaxed, we do better. In anything, we do better. And I think that, even though we think we look at these guys as being specimens on the big stage, they're just human beings the same way as we are.
Bro, I'm just amazed at how, I kind of expect it from the guys that are supposed to be doing this. You know what I'm saying? The real Mutos, guys like that.
Yeah.
But when you look at guys, that haven't been in this stage before, the guys that, the Virlings, the Stocks, these guys are, the moment's not too big for them. No. And to me, that's the biggest thing right now. The moment is not too big for Virling. Bomb, all these guys, you know what I'm saying? Everybody's stepping in and really doing their part, man. How great is that to see, man? What do you call them? The kids, whatever you call them?
The daycare.
Philly there you go, the daycare,
it is pretty incredible. I give a lot of the credit to Rob, obviously Thompson, but also to the clubhouse, because, they make them feel as if they're part of it. Like, a lot of times when youngsters come in, rookies come in, not that there's hazing, but that there's, they got to prove their worth. Well, from day one, these guys were brought in and they were part of the family. They're part of the fabric of this clubhouse. And gosh, I mean, I think I told you guys this, that I learned patience more than anything else in sports. And these guys were patient with them as they hit some rocky spots. I mean, Stott was 6 for 66 to start the year. I mean, you don't survive that in a season. Well, he survived it. And he made an impact. But I think it's been great. I think their energy level, it's like dealing with our kids. I mean, they have kinetic energy, and you're sitting there thinking, how do they do it? And that's exactly what these guys are like.
Just for being an athlete, I've seen that before. I mean, you get guys like, all right, go sit down in the corner over there. But I don't see them guys sitting in the corner.
Exactly.
They're not doing that for
them. Yeah. Hey, Tom.
That's exactly it.
Tom, is this the loudest you've heard this stadium, or how does it compare to another moment in Phillies history?
It's funny. The 08-09 guys,
yep.
They were made for this almost.
Mm-hmm.
Like they were older, fuzzier, some grayer. Jamie was older than everybody. This team they're just different. I mean, they're just a different group. They're funny. Not that team wasn't funny, but they're just really relaxed. I mean, they really are. They're really relaxed. Now they're really relaxed more than anything else,
Tom, how about Hoskins? I mean, it's been such a up and down, even literally game to game. I don't even talk about his whole Phillies career, but game to game. I mean, boots a ball, big home run. There's just so many moments. And again, huge Saturday. You're down 4-0. You blink your eye. You haven't even batted yet. It's 4-0. You're trailing. Yep. And he hits 2 come from behind shots. And then yesterday too. But I think he epitomizes this because he's got the perfect outlook with this. He gets booed. All right. I kicked the ball. I deserved it. Like his mindset is perfect for Philadelphia. And he's emblematic of this whole thing.
I do agree with you, Rob. I mean, listen, he was the first guy I interviewed yesterday after he got off the stage. And before we interviewed, I gave him a hug. And I told him, I said, I can't tell you how proud I am of you. I mean, I'm always proud of you as a person, but as a player and as a husband, as just a player. And I really, truly meant it. I mean, he's one of my favorite people of all time in this game. I always list all these players that everybody says, who's your favorite player that you ever dealt with? I said, Chris Young from Princeton, who's now the president of the Texas Rangers. He's a basketball player. Or David Eckstein from the Thunder, who, won a championship with the Cardinals. But Reese is right there. I mean, he is. He's right there as a person. And
no
Rob,
Barrett Brooks?
Agree with you.
No Barrett Brooks?
Barrett. Yeah, I love Barrett. Well, I have to love Barrett because he and I are cut from the same height and width and stuff like that. So we're kindred spirits.
yeah, but you don't have brain issues like Barrett does. So that's the difference.
Well, there's some people that think I do, Derek. I
mean, depends who you talk to, Derek.
I can give you a list of people. I mean, my house is full of them right now.
Yeah. But you're right, man. I mean, he's something like he's definitely cut, man. That's a great example by guys that just weathered the storm, man. Just weathered the storm.
He's just to me, he's a special guy. I mean, I know everybody has flaws. But think about how he responded every single time. Again, a lot of guys wilt under that. They don't come back from it. I mean, he just keeps getting up.
And Tom, that's another thing to me. Like nobody's scared on this team. Like even Stott. Stott's had so many amazing at bats. No. Where he'll just fight off a couple of pitches that maybe aren't for him, and then serve in he started or kept things alive and teed things up. It from the young guys to the old guys, you're not dreading them coming to the plate in a big moment.
No, I would agree with that. And I guess sometimes I forget. I mean, this was a big time player in college. I mean, I know it was UNLV. He's a first round pick. I mean, he's a big time player. But he's as much a reason for the success of this team as anybody else. I mean, they got rid of Didi Gregorius, who was the everyday shortstop, and said, "Man, we'll just give it to this guy." I mean, they had Sosa to back him up if they need to, but that could have really gone bad. I mean, defensively, even more so than offensively. So, yeah, I agree. I mean, I thought yesterday with the double, even though he was stranded at second base, I mean, that showed you what kind of a player he is. Big moment, no big deal.
Yep. Hey, Tom, there were several times, just small increments, I allowed myself to say the words, we're going back to San Diego. It was 4-0 Saturday, then 6-4, and then they lead 3-2 on a wild pitch on Sunday, and I'm thinking, they're going back to San Diego. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, boom, boom, boom. I mean, this is a storybook season. I kind of equate to the 2017 Eagles. This was a team, they lost players. People counted them out, thought they were going to be underdogs. Atlanta, Minnesota, even against New England in the Super Bowl.
Yep.
All of a sudden, they said, you guys really don't know us and what the chemistry is on this team. And I look at this team now, and as we've just talked about, it's not the same people every day that's being relied upon.
Right.
It's a different hero every day for this team.
Yeah, and honestly, Derek, you're right. And I think that one of the heroes that people kind of forget about yesterday, because he only threw a couple pitches. I mean, he started Friday night, and he just came in, bob it in, and it's a different hero every day. And I think that's what makes it a team. I think the 17 Eagle comparison is true. I mean, you surge, man. You believe in yourself. There's nothing that can stop you.
Yeah, I look at it, and I joke around with these guys, like just before the playoffs started. I'm talking about it's a reason why they went out and got Noah Syndergaard. It's not for what he's going to do going up into the playoffs. I mean, what you saw in that short period of time when they acquired him is not necessarily why they brought him there. I think they foresaw him coming into this playoffs. And now you see that veteran leadership starting to come out. So he's showing guys, guys are a lot more comfortable now. Now you see the Sir Anthony's and everybody else started. I think they brought him in just as that common spirit, man, in that bullpen, man.
Well, yeah, I mean the additions that they made, the Sosa addition, even Marsh and him.
Yeah.
I thought one of the greatest reactions the other day was when he's warming up in the bullpen and they're down 6-4. And they tie it up, and he's like in mid pitch, and he stops, and he's like, "Yes." I mean, it was great. It was great. Yeah. The whole thing. They pieced it together. They've really pieced it together well.
Tom, we haven't even gotten, I can't believe it, to Rob Thompson yet. But I mean, just it felt like, and I always do this to myself because I'll second guess for a second, and then I say, "This guy's pushed every right button. Just shut up, dude." That's what I say to myself every time. But amazing what he's been able to do here in terms of just putting together the right plan. And then yesterday, again, having Suarez up, with David Robertson, who frankly has been a little shaky, to be real, to have him ready to go just in case to break glass in case of emerging was yet another brilliant move.
Rob, you broke up a little bit there, but I think you're asking about Rob and his plan. It's amazing what he's been. I see him every day. I say, "Hey, Rob, way to push the right buttons today." It was uncanny. Whereas Bob Melvin, who's a really good manager, didn't push the right button to bring in Hader to face Harper. For Rob, he just said, "Well, whoever's the matchup is the matchup."
Oh
no. All right, we lost T-Mac. All right, yeah, but guys, that's the thing, and that's what I was referencing, and we'll see if we get Tom back up here. He goes with Robertson. He had to at that point. It's just the way the game broke. But he goes with Robertson at that point, and just in case Sir Anthony's ready to roll, Suarez is ready to roll. And, lo and behold, Robertson is not getting the job done. Boom. And did the Padres help? Sure. Grisham's bunt, I still can't figure it out.
Yeah, I can't figure that one out.
But, just absolutely every right button. He's in a zone. So talk about players being in a zone. That guy's managing in a zone right now.
When you think about the approach Sunday was all hands on deck today. We're not worried about games 6 and 7.
No,
we can end this now. I mean, you're talking Eflin.
He did that Friday, Anthony. Derek. He was going for kill shots Friday.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing. And you're thinking what he did is unconventional. That's not analytics. That's a feel for the game that we talk about. There's no way you can put that in the category of analytics.
No,
because we're sitting there going, "Wait a minute, what's he doing? What's he doing here?" And that's a feel, and that's what he's done all season long. Now, I'm sure there's analytics somewhere involved in this, but that's old school managing right there. And I love it. Initially when it happens, you're thinking, "Man, this could backfire. Oh my goodness!"
It could have gone. It could have gone wrong 10 different ways.
Yeah, man.
You can't manage that way. You
Absolutely.
can't play that way.
Yeah.
Exactly. And when you look at his management of his guys, I ain't gonna lie, man. I'd have sat Rhys Hoskins' ass down. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, yo, and he's stuck with him. And what happens the next game? His defense messes up. What happens the next game? He rocks it and brings himself out of that funk. You know what I'm saying? Throws the bat down. That usually you'd be like, "Man, I got to sit this guy. He's spiraling down. He's in a tip.
Yeah.
He's going all the way down. I mean, I got to sit him down so he can compose himself." He's stuck with him, man. A lot of managers wouldn't have done that. You know what I mean? Especially when you have guys that can go in there and play in his absence.
Well, Barrett, look, you speak to this better than anybody else. When a coach of yours has your back,
you're right.
everything else kind of takes care of itself. Like, I know I'm not going to get yanked. I know this guy believes in me, and that is him, man.
That's huge. That's
huge. And as much as we all, me too, are yelling and screaming about Hoskins and all, man, that dude got me here. This is Thompson's thinking. That dude got me here, and I'm rolling with him.
Exactly.
And and those guys appreciate that, man. They want to play for that dude. You see him when he speaks to them after these big games when they clinch. They're all quiet. They're all waiting, like
dude, that's key right there, because the emotions of coming out of something like that big.
Yeah.
And when he talks, the entire team is quiet.
Absolutely.
That just goes to show what type of guy he is.
Amen.
With Joey B, odds that D-Gun smoked some pork shoulder for game 1 of the World Series. I can tell you right now, Joey.
Friday night.
Joey, I can tell you right now. Even odds. Even odds right now.
Even odds?
Even odds.
That's even. Okay.
Well, that's not his choice. You know what I'm saying? He likes carne asada. See, that's what it's probably what he's gonna do.
You either that, or a few slabs of ribs.
No, you can never go wrong there, man. Can never go wrong. I'll tell you, I was down there Saturday and yesterday, guys, and I was down there.
You worked, right?
Yeah, I did a 4-hour pregame show Saturday.
Where'd you do it from?
I texted
from the booth. From the booth.
No kidding.
At section 125. Yeah, and I did yesterday. I was down there. I did a meet and greet at Citizens Bank Way, which they had the Ferris wheel set up. It was really cool. And wow, people are so. Where I'm going with this is they're so happy. Like they're enjoying this run because it was unexpected and because it took so long to get back. It truly, like, people just coming up like, isn't this great? Like, that's what they're saying. It's not like, man, what do you have to do here? X and O. They're just like, I'm loving this. And that's cool, man.
That's a big thing. Yeah. It's not the negative vibes that usually I get from, all right, well, they shouldn't be there. No, you can't get that. I mean, in all actuality, Middleton, he paid for that.
Right.
He paid for what's going on right now.
Yeah.
We were like, well, why is he spending all this money? When they went out and got their 2 big hitters, I was like, what are we doing?
Mm-hmm.
Are we this far? I mean, you think this much of this team that Schwarber and can come in and Castellanos can come in and change us getting into the playoffs? Well, evidently he knew something we didn't know.
Yeah.
I had no clue.
Well, here's one even bigger. All season long, we kept, not just those who observe and critique. They spent all that money on hitting and they neglected pitching.
Yes.
How many times did we say that?
Yes,
exactly. Spent all that money on hitting and neglected pitching. And then people were screaming in August and September, we can't do this. We're not going to make it. This one sucks.
Screaming 3
this
weeks
one
ago.
Sucks. Yeah. And all of a sudden, except for a couple of guys who I still don't want to see on the mound at this stage of the season.
Correct. Brad Hand.
I don't want to see Gibson. I don't want to see Gibson.
No.
Syndergaard, I'm still on the fence with Syndergaard.
Another one. His name rhymes with David Robertson. I don't know. I mean, was that my out loud voice again?
What?
I mean,
look at Rob.
Sorry. Go ahead,
Rob, I haven't seen you this happy since somebody told you it was a 2-for-1 sale at Acme.
At Cheerios. Yeah, it was a Cheerio 2-for-1 sale
at Cheerios at Acme, man.
And Peter Pan peanut butter.
Oh my goodness! But this is, I can remember. Remember I was we were the 6th seed going to the year we won the Super Bowl, and look, these guys fighting. They were fighting for the number 2 seed with a week and a half, 2 weeks left, and we'd lose one. But then, you turn back around, the Brewers lose one.
Yeah,
and we lose one again, and the Brewers will lose one. We lose one again, the Brewers will lose. It was crazy how we got in it. But once you get in, man, I wasn't. I didn't know. Because it's a lot different from football, way different from football. You know what I'm saying? You get in, when you get in, usually the better team will take over in football when you're playing against a better team once you go into the playoffs. Yes, it says any given Sunday, except when you get to the playoffs. Because usually the better team plays good. But you have more of an opportunity with baseball, and I didn't look at it that way because there are more games to play. It's one and done when you're going into the NFL playoffs.
I'll tell you guys this: they don't win that game 1 in St. Louis, I'm not sure they even get out of that series. That comeback,
that's a good point.
Insane. Absolutely. You had moments like that comeback in game 1 when you were down, what was it, 6 or whatever, going into the 9th. That comeback, like the Castellanos catch to stop the bleeding.
Yep. Oh man,
that game in Atlanta.
Oh,
right.
Yeah.
I mean, there like these moments. Obviously, the Hoskins home run where he slams the bat down. Like, you're gonna remember that, all the Harper heroics. But it's that stuff where you go back and you're like, man, none of this probably happens. It just shows you how such a fine line between winning and losing in sports too.
Maybe it's meant to be.
Maybe
it's one of those. It's just one of those fairy tale stories that's meant to be.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Just like, I mean, we won the Super Bowl, and it would just happen to be in Detroit.
Yeah,
where Jerome Bettis.
Isn't that something?
Jerome Bettis is from Detroit.
Yeah,
last game of his career, he retired on that last game.
Yeah,
it's just meant to be. I just think that it's to me, it's not really a fairy tale because we're doing it the way you're supposed to do it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We're actually doing it the way we're supposed to do it. You know what I'm saying? Lighten them up for 10. You know what I'm saying? Harper comes in and hits, our guy, the main cog in it, wins it for us. These are all things you're supposed to do. Wheeler comes in and our last game in this series, everything is happening we're supposed to have. Our two aces are playing like two aces.
Yeah.
Our bats are starting to hit too.
Go back to that moment you were just talking about with the Steelers. I mean, I think sometimes I don't want to use the word luck, but it's like something's in your favor.
Yes.
Okay. Steelers are Indianapolis. Jerome Bettis, who hardly ever fumbles at the goal line.
Yes.
Guy picks it up and takes off. And of all people, and every time I see that play, by the slimmest of margins, the slowest guy in the field, Roethlisberger, gets a hand on his foot and trips him up just enough to cause him to tumble. I mean, if that dude had a juked one way or the other, he'd have taken it to the house.
Man, he'd have blew his knee out. Roethlisberger would have blew his knee out.
But Roethlisberger barely touches this dude and trips him up just enough.
Exactly. The sixth seed. We had the third seed. We were the third seed, bro. Third seed going to St. Louis baseball heaven.
Yeah.
Going there.
Yeah. There you go.
And they pull it out like that, man. Two of them. I mean, bro, this is unbelievable, man.
Yeah.
And our fans have and we close them out in front of our fans every single time.
Incredible.
Yes. But here's the most important thing. You finally have relevant baseball going into November.
I don't know.
It's been more than a decade since you've had that. People usually at this time are focusing on the Flyers, the Sixers, and the Eagles. And now you've been thrown this caveat of the Phillies doing the impossible against two opponents, as Rob said, they were not favored against, still standing right now. And I guarantee you they're going to go into this series against Houston as the underdogs against Houston.
Are you ready for this, by the way? So look at the way this lines up. You get the World Series. You got Friday, Saturday at Houston.
Yep.
You come back here Halloween night, and then Tuesday, and then Wednesday here, right? You know where the Eagles play Thursday? A week from Thursday? They play at Houston.
At Houston, yeah.
Okay. You could have a game 6 of the World Series Friday and Saturday. You could go from the Eagles playing the Houston Texans at Houston Thursday to game 6 and 7 Friday and Saturday in Houston.
Isn't that something? That's crazy.
That is, I mean, you talk about like destiny, like this is kind of supposed to be happening in some weird way.
Crazy, man.
Bro, this is what it's all about, man. That's what this is why you play sports. This is why all these guys play sports, for these type of things that's happening right now. You couldn't ask for a better story.
Incredible.
You couldn't ask for it, man.
It is
and this is why you do it, man. This is why you play the game, man.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
This is why you play the game.
Man, do we have a lot to hit? We'll keep it rolling here with the Phillies. By the way, 2:00, Greg Murphy's going to be joining us. 1:00, we were going to dive into the NFL Week 7, in particular, what happened around the NFC East. That includes the Giants. That includes the Cowboys. That includes the Commanders, all three of which won. So we will dive into that. We'll get into last night's game and some of the other big games. Obviously, the 49ers and the Chiefs was a biggie as well. So we'll do all of that. Again, Greg Murphy at 2:30. We'll do some open talk, which includes the Sixers, who are winless, the Flyers, a lot of other stuff to get into. So you don't want to go anywhere. We are on fire today, man, and we will keep it rolling. We are Sports Take, JAKIB Sports YouTube Network, Derek, Barrett, and Rob. All right, so let's talk about Jim Murray and Principal Financial Group, because knowing who to trust with your finances can be a very scary proposition, right? And I have been at the front of that line and was for a long time until I found Jim and Principal Financial Group. I can tell you from experience that I trust them with my finances, whether it's retirement planning, 401k review, insurance review. You might have a small business. You're not really sure how to set up your employee benefits. That's something else Jim can help you with. And by the way, I just gave you a few things there. If you just need a consultation, give him a call, 610-996-4751, 610-996-4751. You can email him as well, Murray, MURRAY.Jim@principal.com. That's Murray.Jim@principal.com.
Go to get